Hello and welcome to On the Fly podcast. I'm Dee.
I'm Blue.
I'm Felicia. Nice to meet you guys.
Julie.
Today, it's our 6th episode. Yes, but we also always like to start our podcast with a shot. Welcome to the show, you guys.
All right, I'm pouring mine.
It's the last Tuesday of the month.
6 shows in already. That was fast.
That's what I'm talking about.
I remember your first one.
That's what all the girls say.
Do you hear that?
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
We left that out.
Woo. What is everybody drinking?
Golden
I
Road,
have
Mango
some
Cart.
Absolute lime and some Truly. Can't go wrong on a Tuesday.
Nope.
Right?
The
Good
same.
mixture.
Great minds think alike.
Heck yeah.
That's a full bottle. I want to see that gone by the end of this episode.
Yeah.
JK.
I
Not really.
Just kidding.
with mixed with a little ginger ale, a little cocktail. Last week we underestimated Johnny D swigging. We were giving him a really hard time. So we were like, we're taking full shots every time you swig it. When I rewatched it back, he was heavily swigging like every time.
Oh, because I thought he wasn't swigging at all. I thought he was just taking these little like pussy like.
Oh, was he drinking out of the bottle?
Oh, he was drinking out of the bottle.
Okay. Gotcha.
He was like, cool.
Take his swigs.
So yes.
Watching it back, you were like, wow, like he was drinking swigs, like, and how you see the bubbles when there was no, like, we weren't talking about it. We weren't like, hey, let's take a shot. So he was like double teaming, which would.
What was he drinking?
Jack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He called me the next day and he was like, wow, I drank too much. And we were like, oh, it's because we were heavily drinking and you were heavily on top of our heavily drinking. So Felicia, welcome, and Julie, welcome. I wanted to bring you, Felicia, on specifically because I feel like we've been talking with a lot of service industry people, and you have been working with some reps and some distributors, and I thought that you would have like a really great take on kind of how this has affected you guys and what you've seen, because you've kind of seen the masses versus we've seen a little bit more close up to the establishes that we're associated with.
Yeah.
So that is, I thought, just like a great, and I just like to see you, and
I know, I haven't seen you in so long. It's been so long.
How have you been?
And we told our friends if they want to talk to us or see us, they have to be on the podcast. So
no longer have friends yet.
That's why she's here.
Yeah.
We're gonna stop over. It's Tuesday. You're gonna be on the podcast. Sorry.
FYI. On the fly.
That's amazing. Yeah, I know. I keep telling you, just send me pictures of the babies. That's what I need to see right now. All the babies. I know. So cute.
They're getting very big and monstrous. So you're still working full-time, but is it remote or are you on the field as well?
So basically, I actually took a different position back in October. So now I'm not out of the field, but I'm not doing sales anymore. I'm doing marketing. So I'm a trade development manager and I do digital and e-com. So I'm predominantly working with the off-premise right now, doing like the Drizzlies, the Ibadas, and like all of that kind of stuff. And all of those, when you go to a liquor store and it's like save $25 if you buy X, Y, and Z product. That's pretty much what I'm doing now. But I just took this position in October. And so it's like, it's all just a fucking clusterfuck, to be honest with you. That's really what it comes down to. Because we started back in January, February last year, just like, normal, planning for St. Patrick's Day, taking all the Jameson and everything else in the world. And then,
Crazy, yeah.
and it's just, you know, we had the week leading up to St. Patty's Day. So I used to be, sorry, let's backtrack. I used to be a brand development manager for Pernod Ricard. So Jameson, Absolute, all those really awesome brands. And I did that for about a year and a half. And that's where Blue and I first fell in love, because I had basically downtown, Lower East Side. So I had Blue as an account. So we did a lot of fun things with Absolute, a lot of the flavors, hence the Absolute Lime and Jameson, and just really just great partnership that we had. So we basically were just getting ready for St. Patrick's Day. And then that's when it really, I think, kind of hit us all that like this was actually happening, because, you know, I'm downtown in my little bubble and like we're still like doing whatever. People are still working. People on the like Upper East Side, Upper West Side, same thing. But then when we went to Midtown and started doing pub crawls, it was like, where is everybody? And then it's like, who doesn't want to hug? Who's fist pumping? Which is all, you know, and I mean, then here we are, which is even crazier. So we were pretty much like working from home, not working from home. You know, we had our things that we obviously had to do. And then it just got increasingly really bad. So then we were not really in the field. We were just making phone calls, checking in with everybody, because obviously safety is the most important thing with anybody. So, I mean, a lot of people are married, kids, elderly, the whole nine, and plus like your own life. And then we just came back and we started coming back into the field in like mid-July. And that's when, like, you know, it's hard because everyone has a job to do, right? So we were technically in sales, but it's like you've become friends with your accounts. You've had some of these accounts for 8+ years. Before I worked at Southern, I was at Manhattan Beer Distributors for 6 years, and I had the same area. So it's just like these people are your friends, like, you know, their kids, you know, their lives basically, which is crazy to think about, but that's what like the industry is with anybody, bartenders, other restaurants, other bars, like that's just what it is. And, you know, it was really difficult because you go into your area and you just see how many places close, like people that you've worked so hard, like, you know, their background, you know, their history, and like they've worked so hard to make it what it is. And then there's nothing you could do. And it's, you know, you just want to hug everybody and like support everybody, like with takeout drinks and takeout food. And just at the end of the day, we were just going and hanging out with like bar owners, bartenders, to be like, listen, we're here. Like, we're not gonna try to sell you anything, because I mean, that's just not what we need right now by any means. We're just trying to all just be people and lend the helping hand any way you can, you know? And it's just crazy. And that's kind of like, it's been a rodeo, that's for sure, because, you know, so many people got laid off, so many, not just in general, so many people got laid off, so many people, you know, got furloughed, so many industries just died. And, you know, I live down in the financial district right now, and it's like a ghost town down here, and it's just creepy. And I'm like, I look out my window and I'm like, okay, so there's 9 people on the street, 9 people in financial district that I could visually see. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
Nuts, yeah.
You know, and
Wow.
then, yeah. I mean, it's
I
just,
remember, well, I mean, that just sucks for you I remember St. Patty's Day. Remember, everybody was trying to stay open. I remember all the Irish pubs. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All the Irish pubs. That was their last, that was their dying of their, like, just keep it open. And they just closed down bar by bar.
Cops
So,
going into the bars, and we're
yeah.
like, you've got to be kidding me.
So
On
I
St.
can't even
Patrick's Day,
imagine.
cops are closing down the Irish bars. It was
Yeah.
nuts.
And then, you know, you go to so now, just because I'm really bad at working from home, because I've been in bars and restaurants my whole entire life, like those are my offices. So like, I can't sit in a corner of a bar and just be on my laptop, like doing things. Like, no, I'm trapped in these 4 walls. So I try to like work as much as I can with our off-premise team. So I was on a work with last Thursday, and we were in Midtown, and I'm just looking at all the Irish bars that, like, you know and love before, you know, you go to MSG or anything, and they're like closed. But it's like, are you closed permanently? Are you closed just till March when like the nice weather hits and you can do outside? I mean, O'Hara's downtown here is my home away from home, and they close, and I'm like, I don't know if I should cry, if I'm going in denial. I'm like, I don't
It's not
even know.
happening. It's not happening.
It's seriously what I was thinking, because I was away for a little bit, and then I came back, and I literally called Mike, the owner, and I was like, please tell me that this is a really just another bad dream. He's like, well, I'm like, no, don't say it. Don't say it. But it's so hard. Like, it was the first year that they had to close for, it's a bar, for those of you that don't know, O'Hara's is a bar near the Trade Center. And every year for 9/11, the Tower to Tunnel Run, they just get, I mean, you can't even walk, but they're part of the whole entire history about it and all of that. And this was the first year that they couldn't even open because they were scared that they were going to get fined because of all the people, which is a very, very valid fear. You know, I mean, suspenders down the road, same thing. So many places just closed because they didn't want to have the fear of losing a license. And that's not just for those specific places, but so many places in general. And that's just a scary, scary thing. It's like you're trying to stay open. You're trying to employ your employees. You're trying to help them still stay afloat. But then it's like, where's the middle ground here, you know?
You know, I think that's the interesting thing because Dee and Julie are in California, and a lot of places there were just like, no, we're not shutting down. We're not going to stop serving. And bartenders, we've been talking to a lot of bartenders since the podcast started, and it was like, we're going to work every day until they tell us that we can't go to work, which is so opposite than New York, because New York, you're just the few that have been like fined, like, you know, up in the millions now. Some people have gone to jail, and so people are, but you know, the rents are really expensive in Manhattan, so they feel like this surge to like have to try to make, $5,000 is like a holy fuck amount for a week, which is crazy considering your rent is $20,000,
which is like crazy.
Like, but it's like you rather stay open and be open for that little bit and have those little bit of customers and try to fly under the radar than not be open and have all this overhead. It's like, what do you do?
And it's so hard because like you think about it, and that's exactly it. It's the overhead. So if you close, obviously you're not getting anything, but if you stay open, then you have your taxes, your liquor license fees, your beer and liquor costs, your food costs, then you have to pay your employees. Then it's, what's the insurance for your employees that I can't think of right now? Worker comp, that. So then you have that going on. And then it's like, at that point, you're like, is this even worth it? Because are you paying out more?
Yeah, so you're basically just trying to stay alive. You're just trying to keep your business open at the day, you know,
well,
end of the day.
And what do you do?
Skincare. So I'm an esthetician. So I've kind of been a little bit in the same boat. We haven't been open. We're the same bracket. You know, if they're closed, we're closed. It's a little bit different because of capacity, and we're allowed to have capacity of like 25% in certain tiers here. But still, it's like I don't have clients. Clients don't want to come in. You know, so it's basically just taking whatever I can get just to at least pay my rent and not lose my spot, not have to close my business.
It's so, and I mean, you probably work so hard to make your business what it is too. And it's just like that, it just gets taken away. Like it's
taken away. Yeah.
You know, Paris Cafe downtown, they closed because, you know, with rent and everything like that. And that was a staple in the Seaport. Like they survived Sandy. Like that just, it's, you know, you go the Village, 7th Ave, I mean, and it's just boarded up everywhere. And it's, are you coming back in March when the weather gets nicer and you can have outdoor seating? Or is this just permanently closed? Because, and it's so hard because, I mean, I see it both ways. I try to be really on both ends of the fence. You know, I see why you don't want to do indoor dining in the city because obviously we have higher population, more chance, more risk, all of that. But at the same time, at some point, we're gonna have to open it. So right now, and this is obviously just complete my opinion, I feel like so many people, which I didn't even realize, are scared to still do indoor dining. So then why not open it now? So that way the people that aren't so scared can go and just start like the trend. So that way, when it comes a little bit nicer, it's not, people have already done the indoor dining. So now they're going to want to sit outside. I mean, by
100%.
By 6 o'clock, my feet are frozen. No matter how many heat lights are surrounding my body, my feet are frozen. Like it's not happening.
And I feel for you guys because, you know, in California, we have
I see the sunlight.
You know?
You get to like 40 over here and we're like freezing, but you guys it's freezing over there.
So there's like no way to do outside dining at all.
Oh,
out there.
people are doing it. I mean,
People-
Blue can tell you.
Yeah,
Which
they don't
is
have a
a
choice.
lot.
I think it's, you know, like when we talk 25%, you know, like you're talking like 15 people. Like, you know, the thing of New York is that we have just such smaller locations. So when you're talking about capacity, it's like they're talking about like not allowing 10 people into these places. It's like pretty bizarre. And I think the outdoor dining, not only is it freezing, is a lot of people had to take on the expense to build it to be like nice. And some of these places, to be honest, are kind of like 3 walls and it's like pretty much indoors.
Yes.
And
You're outside, but you're inside.
yeah, you're outside, but
build
you're totally inside. And then they like for ours, you know, like you have to consider that there's bums. And so like for us, we had to lock up the heating switches because bums were going into our outdoor patio, turning them on and staying warm, which like God bless them. But at the same time, like we are fronting that bill that we can't afford to pay because we're like $7,000 in the hole to Con Ed. And then, you know, on top of that is people are just spray painting it and pissing everywhere. And it's like, cool. So that's where I'm going to sell my $7 Jameson or, you know, $9 Jameson. So you can go sit in this fucking place that we have to clean all the time. It just is like, not,
That sounds pretty good. I'm like, it's 14 here.
and then you have like the snow plows are pushing like gross, you know, like not that we've had a whole lot, but it's like, you know, the snow plows are pushing dirt up and then you throw your trash out because we don't have dumpsters or alleyways. So people are putting their trash out on the street right next to it. You know, it's just like it's a great thought in theory to like keep us alive, but it's so ridiculous.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, that's not going to work. I
It
keep
just doesn't
forgetting
work.
about that when I went to New York. It was just like trash on trash on trash on the curb. So like, where are you going to put your tents out on the sidewalk when there's trash right there? It doesn't make sense over there. I mean, I get it here, but if you, I didn't even think about
It
your
doesn't.
trash, the snow,
It's
all
the
the stuff that
bums.
you guys have to do. Yeah.
It's the bums. Like they honestly, who's gonna sit? I mean, and this pretend you're going to like a restaurant because a lot of the restaurants have like really people have really been creative through this whole entire thing. I will say that people have gotten very creative, like these little like bubble things, these like little like sliding doors. Like I'm very impressed with the creativity.
I love it, right? Yeah. Awesome. Make it work.
Still not good. Like I'm gonna go pay $45 for steak when I have a bum that's literally possibly pantless, possibly pissing right across from me, not really sure what he's doing, asking me for money because it's a public street, so you can't really say anything. But like, is that what I like? No, I don't want to do that. That's like, what's that experience right there? Because you're
and that's half of dining. It's ambiance, you know, when you're paying for that plate, it's half of the ambiance for sure.
Like,
so what do restaurants do?
Yeah. And if you're just going to have a drink, like here or there, whatever, like, you know, you get your, at this point, ham and cheese sandwiches, maybe a slice of Ilios because we have to serve food with our drinks. So sure, we'll do that. And then it doesn't seem like as bad because that's kind of like what you're doing. But then even think about, you know, you want to go out for dinner. Then you want to go have your after dinner drinks. But now if I want to go have my after dinner drinks, I still have to order my corner slice of Ilios because I have to have food with my drinks. And I'm like, come on.
Just ate.
Can I exchange this for a drink? Because I already ate dinner.
So how much is this compared to a cocktail?
And then on top of that is like, there's so much, like for all the homeless and all the shit that's going on here, there's so much food being wasted because people are like, yeah, I'll buy another fucking hot dog, but I'm going to throw it in the trash because I'd like, like the reality is I'd like another margarita. So these regulations just are like, you know, and I'm going to go, like, if I'm going to hang out with my friends, right? Like if I choose that, like, I'm going to be out and about and I go hang out with my friends. The chances of me sanitizing everything, like wiping everything down, having a mask, like, you know, doing all of these things is so much, like so less than going to a restaurant where somebody is in charge of wiping everything down and making sure that your masks are on. You know, it's like, it seems like the safest place for people to be versus having their friends over and everything going to shit.
Agreed. Then with you not having restaurants open, that forces people to have everybody in the close proximity, which is where supposedly well, as of today, that's where it's spreading. Tomorrow it's going to be someplace else. But I mean, not to take COVID lightly by any means, but at the same time, it's give people the option. We all have taken the safety precautions. We're all wearing masks. I mean, the flu is down astronomically because of masks. I mean, we all have, yeah. That is actually it.
Right.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden. How'd that happen?
It's just, I just don't get it. And like, you think about like upstate New York, you think about all like the other, you know, upstate New York, I forget which area, but they like just sued the governor because like for basically not letting them open. And I'm like, we have organizations down here that are really trying to fight hard, and we're fighting the best battle that we can. But it also comes down to, I mean, there's only so much you can do. And then the crazier part to me also is that like then everyone, the SLA is just finding everybody. Like, can't we get a break somewhere or the other? Like,
so that comes down to West End. You know how West End got fined like 2 weeks ago? All of a sudden we're open now. The curfew's up. There's no 10 o'clock curfew now. We can be open. So are they still getting fined, or are they okay now? Because not even 2 weeks ago we were closed and they were violating some kind of quote unquote law or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like, do they get is it okay now? Or are they not going to get fined? Or all these other restaurants that look at the Standard, all these places in LA that just closed down after 20 something years being open, you know,
right?
They're closed down.
And
now all of a sudden we're open.
Right
It's
after I had to lose my lease, right?
It's safe now, but the numbers are exactly the same. The situation's exactly the same, but now it's safe. Now it's okay. Now everything that we said doesn't matter. It's like
none of it makes sense.
It's like mind-blowing, right? It's like, what's really going on here? There's something behind the scenes, right? That we're all just like, okay, well, I guess I want to talk about it.
No, and that's the problem is no one wants to talk about it, but yet everyone wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's one, and then I don't know what it is in California, but here we have to be closed by 10. Restaurants, takeout, liquor stores. So like if you're even trying to have like the after party, you have to make sure you're at the liquor store before 10, because restaurants will stop will stop seating you at 8:45, 9, because God forbid there's a bum rush for the kitchen. At 10:01, if an SLA person walks in, you're fined. And I'm just like, you can't get a break.
Oh no, when we had the curfew for 10 o'clock and they were outside our establishment by like 9:47, listening to us, making sure that we were calling last call. Like, obviously I'm a loud ass, so you hear, I'm like ringing a bell. I'm like, last call, get the phone.
Word. Yeah.
You know, like we're like the remote, like music's going down. We're closing up shop. We're putting all the tents down. We're putting our porta potties away, locking up because
they're sitting there trying to find you.
You know, but yeah, they're coming in and okay, we're just checking to make sure that you guys are, you know, closing down by 10. But now I guess I read that our curfew is done.
Yeah.
So that's lifted. So next Friday, we are actually gonna open. We're opening. Next Friday, Donkey D's opening up. And we're gonna be from 8 to 2. And
it's so sad though, because I'm like, well, why not any other day? Because no one knows. No one knows what's gonna happen tomorrow, right?
So you guys still have the curfew. You guys still have the curfew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last that they had said was that there was no intention of changing New York City, which is like they'll change and affect like all these other places with sometimes higher infection rates, but New York City is never. It's just
so LA is gonna open up, but New York is not.
Is LA gonna open?
I went to Westchester this past weekend, and I went to go have dinner inside because above the city you can go indoor dining, and I guess I didn't realize, but people were sitting at the bar. I was like, I almost cried. I was like, I kind of like to lay across the bar, maybe lick it. I don't know. I'm like, please, like, let me just nosedive at first. It was just like, but I mean, you're talking like my one foot was on 240th Street and my other foot was on the Yonkers borderline. I'm like, because apparently this 8 feet difference, I can't get COVID. Like, what? Like, it's
same thing here. We have
It's insane.
17th Street is pretty much divides us from Newport and Costa Mesa. So you go to any of the establishments in Newport and you can go in, there's indoor dining, all that jazz. But here in Costa Mesa, it's kind of scattered. You either have indoor or not. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. And then you go to Huntington Beach and it's just open.
Yeah.
It just depends. Here, it's a little weird here. It's just all over the place. Like we were talking in the last podcast, you kind of have to read the room if you go anywhere, you know? Like, are people wearing masks? Are they not wearing masks? Like, are they sitting inside? Are they not? Are they at the bar? What? You're at the bar? I want to sit at a bar.
I want that stool. Give me that stool.
All I want to do is sit at the bar. That's all I want.
Like I knew that I like to sit at the bar, but I love to sit at the bar.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Like, for the past 2013, what are we, 2021, so 8 years, the past 8 years, all I've been doing is walking into bars and sitting at the bar. Like, so like, also like, it's a mind fuck for me because I'm like, I mean, Blue, you know me working from home, sitting at home, being antisocial, like this doesn't work for me. Like, fucks with your head almost. I people the other day.
100%. That's what we're talking about. Like, we need people. Even when you go to the bar and you're by yourself, you're not by yourself.
You're definitely not by yourself. The other day, I went downstairs to my doorman and asked him if I had any packages. I knew I had no packages, but I had contact. I was like, oh, I was like, all right, well, how's the day going? You know, I needed something. I'm like, I am going.
I need to talk to you.
Poor guy. He's like, can you please go away? I'm like, yes, got it.
Oh my God.
It feels like you keep waiting for a package, but there is no package. This is the 7th time this week.
Amazon did make a delivery today, but but
it's true. The service industry, we're used to seeing people on a daily basis, and we're used to seeing multiple people on a daily basis. You know,
Matt, get the fuck away from me. I'm tired of seeing your face. Get away. Just get away.
I need to see another face.
I'm glad you came over.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm here too.
it's just wild. It's crazy. You know, it's, you know, even in the beginning, think about all the people that were here on work visas. Like, we have such a predominant Irish community here. So think about all of them, like, that had to go back home because obviously they're not working. It's overall just really fucking shitty. That's really what it comes down to.
Did you have any friends that had to leave, like go home or anything? I know a few people had to like leave state and they couldn't afford it, you know?
I know a couple people that left. I don't know if it was because of like visas or just because their bars closed and they're like, well, what are we going to do here? You know, like subletting and all of that. So I knew a couple people that have left, but also like now, like they're home living their best life in Ireland, you know, and because it's just what everyone has to do. It's just, I don't know. It's crazy. You know, even when they were like stalking, I remember when we first went to like our only outdoor dining and they were like stalking out restaurants on like 3rd Avenue and all of that kind of stuff, just like waiting to write them tickets. Because at the end of the day, they're going to make their money one way or another. So if we're not open, if you're thinking about all like the bars and restaurants that are closed down. So now they're not paying for their liquor licenses or taxes, all of that. So now they're closed. They're going to have to make their money some way or another. So now they're just going to fine everybody else that's trying to make it work. It's insane. I do love this city though. I will make that a very good point.
I love it. I love it. I love the people there. Obviously, you guys. But no, and I just keep forgetting it's not California. It's completely different. I don't know. It's just orange curtain. Orange curtain, you know. Really? So
Lou, what do you think? Like, what do you think? You think
you know, I think it's like an interesting thing because
wait, what city do you guys live in? What city do you live in, Felicia?
So I live in downtown Manhattan.
Last time I talked to you lived in Jersey.
Oh my God, thank God I got out of there. Yeah.
It was like right when we went in, I think I talked to you last and you were like, I need to get out of here.
Oh my God. So I lived in Manhattan the past 8 years. And then last year, my 2 roommates, they were getting married. They got married and then they were having a baby. So they moved out of the city. So affording an apartment in New York City by yourself is like not a thing. So the only place I could really afford was I moved to Hoboken. So I was in Hoboken for a year during this whole entire pandemic. And naturally I went in with a really bad attitude because I'm like, I'm moving to Jersey. Like, this is really what's happening. No offense to all you Jersey people, love Jersey, but just, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. I wasn't ready to leave Manhattan. So then but that's one good thing is with all of this, there's been so many rent packages and prizes, and that's a really terrible word to use, but rent stimulus packages, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So anyway, I was able to move right back to the city. So I'm actually in the same complex that I lived in with my other 2 roommates for the past 3 years. So I moved literally right back home. So yeah, so I'm in downtown and I just couldn't be happier, but still it's, you think you're so happy to get back to New York and then you're back here and you're like, oh.
But it's like not what I think that's the thing about, so I'm in Queens, but like Long Island border. So I like in the suburbs.
Okay. Yeah.
Suburbs. But that's what everybody's been telling me that goes to work. They're like, you're going to come back and be like, wow, like it's just so different. And I heard Chinatown is just like really sad. The Village is really sad.
Village is so sad.
It's going to be a very big heartbreak. But again, it's the same thing of like, are they closed or are they just closed for winter?
And no one really knows because we were coming in because we had to, obviously, we were coming into the city to like just go see accounts and things like that. So, I mean, like even like going back and forth, you can go to an account one day and then the next day, like you have a meeting and then someone got COVID and then the whole place is closed down. So, I mean, everything was just constantly changing. There was no really, you couldn't do any sort of pre-plan anything. It was just, I'm going to go to this area, see who's around and who's not. It's crazy. I mean, but then you have like Barstools who is raising a shit ton of money to like help bail people out, which is even crazier.
That's amazing. What they're doing is amazing because I think, like we've gotten a few grants for like 5,000, 10,000, which sounds really awesome, but it's gone like that.
Oh yeah.
It's like, doesn't exist. So I haven't left my house since March. Like I've left to like maybe
1986.
maybe do random things. And I just went to go visit a friend. Well, I didn't really. I went to go visit Izzy's, which is I don't know if Felicia, Izzy, but
yeah.
So I went to go visit her memorial and meet with a friend and just exchange merchandise. And she has COVID. So I am currently under quarantine. I'm like, oh.
Now you're really not going anywhere.
Yeah, you're there in that corner. You better learn to play the bass.
Well, like, that's like the craziest thing, right? And I always say like, COVID is like a big like field, and then like you could potentially just like get a stuffy nose, but you could potentially like go to the hospital.
Be really sick, yeah.
Like the luck is like I would definitely step on a landmine, even though like the masses wouldn't. And I think like that just like proves my point is like I have literally not done or gone anywhere. I've been like ultra safe, like annoyingly like, I mean, the coolest things have happened at work, and I've just been like, all right, guys, you guys enjoy, like, and then I leave. And
it's crazy though, because it's right now, no one has a stuffy nose, no one has a throat. It's either you got COVID or you don't. Like that's
nothing in the middle.
There's nothing in the middle. People are like, oh, I'm a little congested, but I'm fine. I'm like, no. You got COVID. You stay home. Like you're not. I already had COVID. So I got COVID back in the beginning in March when this first happened. And I mean, I had, from what I think is a mild case, I mean, I lost taste and smell, and I had like chest pains and like muscle weirdness, I will say. But I mean, never had a fever, never really, but yet I was with my sister during that time and she didn't get it. And I mean, like at that point, like COVID was so new, so fresh, like I didn't know I had it. And then my sister's like, you can't taste this? And I'm like, no, why? She goes, I'm calling the health department. I'm like, you are doing no such thing. But I mean, needless to say, she called, I got tested, and I tested positive, but she tested negative. So there's no rhyme or reason. Sure. It's like, one day it's you're quarantining for 14 days. One day you're quarantining for 10 days. Like no one No one knows. It's so fresh. No one knows.
You know, I agree. I'll have it to clearly test on tomorrow. But her roommate tested negative, and I've know friends who their husbands got it, but they didn't, and they sleep in the same bed. It's just
it's there's no rhyme or reason, which is actually kind of scary.
Well,
That's
the
what
homie
makes
got
it
it,
scary.
and his whole house had it. Sister, brother, new fiance, dad, mom, everybody. I go, did you get it? Everybody kept coming back with the test. Oh, positive, positive. I'm like, did you get it? No. Did you get it? No. Are they all good? They're all good, and he still didn't get it. I'm like, there's like 7 people around you, and they all had it, and you didn't get it.
It's insane how this. It's so insane.
Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna cut us because I for some reason it's making me update my account. So
Right now, in the middle of it. Okay.
Right? I've never had to do this.
When I have to jet, girls.
Yeah, we'll cut this. We're gonna cut this whole segment right here. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, when we come back, you'll be gone. Anyway. Oh, bye. Oh, I love
that's
your
so
face.
sad.
I love your face too.
Thanks for coming by. You want a shot?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Wait, what time is in Cali right now?
It is almost 4.
4 or 5. She got a baby, so she got to go.
Yeah.
Well, not a baby, but like a kid.
Kid.
A child,
Can't
gremlin.
get too loosey
Yeah.
goosey.
Yeah. She'll be like, Mom, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, this is the mommy juice. Mommy's feeling really good right now.
Yeah. I'm not a bad mom. I'm a cool mom.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday. Well, it was great meeting you, Felicia.
Yeah, you as well. Take care. Hopefully you get some time.
You as well. What?
You gotta go back, Felicia.
Oh, bye, Felicia.
It's okay. I'm like, Julie. You know Valley Girl? You know Valley Girl. The movie Valley
I
Girl?
know Valley Girl.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm Julie.
Blue.
Bye. I can't see you, but bye.
I'm giving you air kisses.
Yeah, she's
Air
doing it.
kisses.
That's weird that it made you update your
It's
account.
never made me update. It was like down to the minute. So I was like, oh fuck, I really gotta.
I see that on
Oh,
my
it's
screen,
counting
less than a
down
minute.
too? Yeah.
Hey.
So Jules is gonna leave.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us. We really
It was a pleasure.
Mwah. All right, drive careful, Kayla.
Bye.
Dee, let me see your outfit. Is it a whole matchy?
Oh yeah, sweats. Sweat. It's cold. It's cold here in California, guys. I got sweats, but it's a crop top sweat suit. I went for like tracksuit, but not tracksuit, like a little bit cooler, so you get the bunnies on it.
I love it.
That's me. It's like 51 degrees here. It's cold, guys.
You don't want to know how cold it is here. No.
Yeah. How cold is it over there?
I think it's like what, 20 degrees?
Yeah, I think it was like
I'm gonna tell you right now.
It was like 25, felt like 19 or something.
Like literally my asshole just clenched up. And again, it's not going to be a podcast if I don't talk about my asshole.
Feels like 23 degrees. It's fucking cold.
Like your nipples.
Yeah, it's cold.
Just
That's cold. No, I'm not cool with that. Yeah, we're good.
it's so cold here. And you know, that's like the really interesting thing about New York is that when I moved here, I was like, it's cold out. Like, do you still have to do things? Like, do you still have to go to work? And like, it never stops. It doesn't matter that there's a blizzard.
Nope.
She's like, wait, I'm from California. Do we go to work if it's snowing?
You don't get gas in the snow, right? Like,
Do you have an automatic starter in your car now or no?
yeah.
Yes.
Wait, that's pretty nice.
Yes.
But you street park?
No, we have a driveway and a garage. I know.
You live.
Far, very far.
Not in Kansas anymore. That is a photo.
Yeah. It's definitely, if you drove, you're like, I'm for sure in Long Island, but it's like Long Island's like 2 streets away. It's far. You know, too, I think we decided to get like upgrade our house to a garage and a washer and dryer, and we bought a new car right before COVID. Like we moved in and then COVID happened.
Well, that's honestly pretty sweet because then you can like unpack, you decorate, you do everything you have to. Then after like a month, you're like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah. Like we have this like new neighborhood that we've just never gone to. Like we don't like go out, or just, what?
Yeah.
I was talking to Coco about this. I feel like I'm going to be such an introvert after. Like,
I'm really licking everyone's face.
Go away. You are not guest appearing on this podcast. Sorry, guys.
We should have Matt on for a shot.
Do you guys want to do a shot?
You can do a shot.
Hey, Monster, come here. Babe. Matthew! He's probably on Call of Duty right now. Come here. Oh, they want to do a shot with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Since you like to say.
What's up, ladies? Sorry.
Hi.
I forgot you guys did the podcast.
So, have you guys ever heard about this Twitch phenomenon?
A what?
Look at.
Me when I
Twitch, it's like what the young kids are doing.
Oh,
No, I don't know what any of
like
that
flossing
means.
and dabbing.
Cheers.
Cheers, ladies. Have a kick-ass number 6 podcast.
Thanks, Matt. That was a really good shot.
Wait, what are you taking shots of?
Absolute lime.
Beer.
Oh, you're
Oh.
drinking that and doing shots of it. Oh yeah, Absolute is good vodka. I like it.
I
And
never
not
do
because
shots of vodka.
No, it's wonderful.
It's actually really good.
You honestly also, I don't know if you've had any of the juice flavors, the strawberry or the apple, but the apple with ginger ale or as a shot is so good.
Wait, Absolute Apple?
Yeah, I have the strawberry. I really wasn't sure which way I was going, but I have the strawberry, but there's an apple. I like the apple personally better, but I do have the strawberry.
Do you have to mix anything with it, or is it juice because you don't have to do anything to it?
No, it's all naturally flavored. So it's like they use like real fruit and they like press it down and like mix it in with the vodka, bottle it up, and like that's what it is. There's no artificial flavoring.
So do you just put it on ice?
You can. I personally like the apple with club soda just because like I need a little like
Gives
little
that little effervescence.
Yeah, exactly. I need that
Yeah.
carbonation. So that's but that's also how I just drink all my drinks. Like even like tequila soda, vodka soda, like I'm not like a really big like sweet person. But I do like the strawberry and I do like the apple. They're really good.
Ooh, we're gonna have to. Ooh, maybe we'll have that on next episode.
I'll be back.
I like that. Strawberry Absolute, guys. With some
It's
soda.
really,
I like it.
they're coming out with a pear soon. It might be out or it might not be. And they're also coming out with a watermelon.
I
Ooh,
love
don't like
Wait, pear is definitely out. I totally backtracked. Pear is definitely out. Watermelon's coming out.
I'm into it. I love the flavored everything.
We had a lot of it. We had a lot of it.
We bought this huge case buy, and then it was like, how many ways can I force everybody to drink
all the flavors.
Well, because everybody's always like, oh, give me something fruity. And it's like, okay, I can mix any of these flavored vodka with like some kind of whatever, and it's something fruity. So here you go.
Yeah.
It just makes
Cranberry
everything
juice.
better.
Everything needs either sour mix or cranberry juice. Here you go.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you do the Absolute lime and cran, it's just a Cosmo. So it's like, that is just a no-brainer.
I know.
Perfect.
I
God,
like
F
it.
bomb. R.I.P.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about vaccines a couple of episodes ago. So, are you going to get a vaccine?
I don't know if I'll be eligible. I'll probably be like on the bottom of the list because I've already had it. I would think.
And question, do you even think that it is even like relevant now that we're all open?
I think that a lot of people are gonna want it because then like they feel like, it just gives them like that peace of mind, and then they're gonna like be more comfortable like traveling out and about, and then like maybe like they'll go back to like buy like small businesses and things like that. I feel like that's just like a comfort, if you will. But I mean, like also like I never get the flu shot just because I don't get the flu shot. So are we going to grow a third arm from this vaccine? I don't know. But also, I think that I think that a lot of people are going to get it when they can, because it just gives them a peace of mind. And honestly, if it helps, like, what at this point we have to try something. So if it means shooting something in your arm, like, it's happening.
So I know a few people that got it. So I'm just waiting until their second round. I'm keeping tabs on them. So we'll see what goes on. I'm not getting it right now. It's too early. Done. I'll just wait until everybody else does it.
That was my initial feeling too, to be honest, because I'm like, I need to make sure that everyone else is not going to die from it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I really think that I'd probably be one of the last. I mean, just because but then again, I don't know if that's how that works or not. I don't know. But I have a lot of friends that, are NYPD correctional officers, nurses, and they've all gotten it. And like, so far, like, they've already had their second dose. So.
Oh, do they? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Thank God. They're like running out of second doses now. That's the other thing.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. That's another thing.
So if they run out of second dose, then what do we do?
What happens to all the people that already took the first dose and don't have the second dose?
Thank you.
Like, what happens?
I don't know. Like, does it just wear off? Or like, can you, I don't know.
I heard that you're only like 50%, like you're just a percentage of not getting it. Like you're just like a little bit more immune, not fully immune.
I don't know. We need to know, like, doctors. I don't know any doctors. Do you have any doctors? Because I would love to have a doctor or somebody who is like more knowledgeable in this and like the numbers and like what's really going on. I would love somebody to come and be like, hey, I want
you
to
could have 3 doctors on here, I feel like, and each doctor would have a different answer. That's the problem.
100%. Yes, 100%.
Like, we could all read the same newspaper, the same article, and we will have 3 different takes. We'll be like, oh no, that's what it said. It's like, nope, this is what it said. It's like, wait, what?
I mean, I feel like we're doctors at this point. Like, no information. We have nothing solid to say. We just bring up topics.
Right now,
yeah, we're doctors. It's already happened. We're already talking about it. It's done.
It's so crazy.
That's it. This is when people are getting their news. That's it.
Social media really has just, I mean, it's so wild.
What's the most bizarre thing that you heard that somebody, because like everybody's always factual, like, oh, this is what it is, and you're kind of like what is the most bizarre thing? Like my mother-in-law, for instance, she gave us this paste that you put on your hands that you like garden.
Okay.
Like a gardening glove, but like it's like you put it on and it stays on. She was like, that will make sure you don't get COVID. We were like,
will it?
What is this gardening glove? What are you talking about?
It's a gardening glove. Like it's the stuff that you put on your hands, so when you garden, it doesn't like actually penetrate your skin.
It's like a paste, so like you don't get like cut or like anything.
Okay, got you.
Yeah,
but it's like wearing a glove without ever taking it off. So like, just because you wear gloves doesn't mean that you can't touch something and touch your mouth or like.
Yeah, that right there. X-nay. Like,
I'm like, because every single customer that you use your glove with, you technically need to throw that shit away. Anything you do, when you get money from a customer and put it in the register, you gotta throw that shit away. But everybody else keeps it on, and they keep it on for like 8 hours. I'm like, that's like just having
no purpose.
Yeah.
It's and then going back to like the time thing, it's like, okay, at 10, I don't get COVID. At 10:01, I'm totally getting COVID. And
but like, right now at 10:01, you're not gonna get COVID.
Definitely not, because I'm safe. But like, it's one of those things too. Like, like I get like when it was like the midnight 1 o'clock, because obviously people get more drunk, they stop listening to the rules. I get that kind of, but then do like an 11:30, like New York City is supposed to be the city that doesn't sleep. Well, guess what? We're up. We want food and we want booze. So that's what we want. It's just, I also think it's so funny. Well, not funny, but riddle me this. If okay, so now I have COVID. I don't have COVID anymore, but I have the antibodies. So now if you have COVID and you don't know it, and let's say you touch me, and then let's say you touch like my shirt, is it on my shirt where now if someone else like happens to hug me and then they touch the same exact spot and then touch their eye, now they have COVID?
Oh yeah, that's what they were saying. Because
But, like,
it lasts on surfaces for so many hours or days.
right, because before it was
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah,
now
if
it's
you
like
have
5
it,
seconds,
you're good.
like,
But somebody touches you, yeah, they're putting it on you. So that means anybody else who touches you gets it. That's my understanding. That was
right,
my
'cause
understanding.
that's what my understanding
Now
was
I
too.
think it doesn't work. Like if somebody
Now it
touches
doesn't work
you
that
after
way.
10 o'clock, you're good. It's good. You're good. You're good.
Or-
Everybody else can touch you. You're good though.
Or if you get a takeout delivery, which is big in New York, is takeout delivery. If they touch your food after or anytime, then it doesn't matter.
Nope, doesn't matter.
As
And
long
it's
as
funny,
it's not indoors.
but I will say it's interesting how many people. So I live in an elevator building. I'm currently cat sitting for one of my friends, and she lives in an elevator building. So I was in the elevator the other day, and so depending on the elevator, you can have like 4 or 5, like they tell you how many, and like everyone pretty much abides to it. So it's just me and this other guy, and like we were both waiting. So he gets in, and then I get in after him. So there's 2 of us in the big elevator, and their elevators hold 5. And he's like, "Oh, I'll just wait for the next one." I'm like, "If you thought I was getting out, absolutely not." But like either way, like we both have masks on. You're both not touching anything. We're on opposite ends. Like just don't breathe or touch me. Like it's just like crazy. But then again,
Just
then-
don't breathe.
but on the other end, it's like everyone has their comfort level. So like I'm not judging you for your comfort level, but at the same time, I'm like, but then again, like he could have diabetes, asthma, and like one lung. Like I don't know. So it's just so hard because like some things are just so ridiculous, and you're like, oh, this is so ridiculous. But then I'm like, I also don't know like what the background is. So like, isn't that so ridiculous? I don't know.
Question though,
But
do you all touch your buttons in the elevator?
I do because I wash my hands and sanitize all the time. Like I still
But is there somebody in there like constantly sanitizing that
No.
key thing?
Nope. How
Okay.
think about your doorknob, like to your
Exactly.
apartment.
I sanitize that shit, but I'm like a weirdo. I sanitize everything. I like bleach everything. And everything's bleached.
But then you think about like herd immunity. Like these kids, these poor kids, like I can't even. Like they're gonna be the most fucked up because they're not socializing. They're staring at a screen all day. And here we are staring. Well, I stare at a screen all day, and I'm like, I'm 34, and I'm staring at a screen, and I want to go nuts. Like I can't even imagine.
All the vaccines that were happening, I'm like, okay, well, how about the homeless people? Like we have a bunch of homeless people here too. You guys have even more. It's like, but are they getting shots? Because I'm seeing like semis carrying booths of COVID vaccination, like little booths that they set somewhere, and there's somebody in there that like gives you a vaccine or like takes your COVID test, right? So I'm like, what are these? And I'm like, oh wow, that's so crazy. They have these little booths. It's kind of like going to like the fair and you see the ticket people in the ticket booths. It's like a little booth, right? And they give you the ticket. It's that booth, but it's a COVID booth, right? So I'm like, so how about all these homeless people and these little drug addicts, and like we got like a soup kitchen over there. So are they getting this stuff? Like how are they even like,
I think
and with New York too, are they going over there and they're saying, hey, to all the homeless people, hey, you need vaccine? That's why I don't understand. And then it's like, what's the percentage of the homeless people and having COVID too? Because you don't hear that. I'm like, there's people out there that are more fucked up than we are in our situation. Like I'm good. I got a roof over my head. I got food in my refrigerator. But there's people that are literally on the street. Yeah. So it's like, how the hell are they dealing with this stuff?
I feel like though, I mean, I don't know, but in New York, Blue, and correct me if I'm wrong, like there's like a whole entire like tier system. It's like if you're a first responder or essential worker, like you're in one tier, like you get it. Then it's like people over a certain age, like there's definitely tiers, but that was a whole entire uprising in Jersey because in Jersey, they were letting people who were smokers get the vaccine. And everyone was like up in arms because they're like, why do you get it if you're a smoker? But then it's like, how do you define a smoker or not? I can just be like, yeah, I stopped smoking. Like you don't. So it's just, it's all just so crazy.
It's such a clusterfuck of like, what?
Yes. Oh wait, did you also see that? What was it? Was it the Hasidic Jew community that like stole vaccines and were administering it themselves, like when it first came out? There was like a whole like.
I have not heard that, but I am so not surprised.
Like it's all just so fucking.
It's interesting though, because they were the first ones to like burn the masks and like don't tell me what to do, and we're gonna we're gonna social distance anyway. But like, we also want to steal them and like.
It's insane. It's all just insane.
The times are very, very, very odd.
What do you think the textbooks are gonna say when what are the textbooks gonna say out of all of this?
Oh, can you imagine what's gonna happen? Yeah.
When they told us like the Spanish flu took this many years and we were kind of like, okay, it's gonna be 2 years. None of us, I didn't. I was like, no way. Like it is, 2020. Like there's no shot that it's gonna take this long. But we like repeated history, like we have no.
Yeah, but like it's like all the stuff that we learned in the past year and a half almost, a lot of stuff I didn't learn in textbooks and stuff that we just, I mean, I don't know. I didn't pay attention in school. I mean, not gonna lie. I was a funny person. It was fun. I partied a lot. I knew a bunch of people. I was a sports person. So, but it's like all the stuff that I learned this year, I don't know if it's because I'm older and I just paid attention, or if it's like, oh, this stuff would have kept me interested in school if I would have learned this. So again, yeah, what are they gonna put in the textbooks later on? Are they gonna put this down where like when we read it and our kids are reading the stuff, we're like, that's not how it happened. Like, no, that's not, no. Or are they going to put it down to
The Wire?
Yeah.
I mean, think about like the storming of the Capitol. Like, how you going to write that one up in the textbook? Like, it's just. But I think that also, like when I was younger and like I read history, like sure, like you read it because you had to get through it and all that stuff.
Can you imagine the pictures that are going to be in the textbook of the storming of the Capitol? The dude with
my favorite.
Oh my God. Can you imagine what's going to, that picture alone, right when you said that, the pictures of storm, that picture automatically, that little meme is what I feel like is going to be in the textbook. Like all our little memes are going to be in the textbook.
You mean this one?
Oh, and she got it.
That one?
Old Jamie, you're fired.
Old Jamie, you've been replaced.
Yes. Like.
And then the Bernie Sanders meme, like, where's that going? That's got to go somewhere in the history books because
that has to be. Somebody already got a tattoo of that. I saw somebody. It was like a cat, like a shin. Yes, somebody already did. I'm like, stop, because you can see the other tattoos around the tattoo, and I'm like, and you can see the shaved hair, and I'm like, stop. Somebody already got amazing. That. Can you imagine our textbooks?
Like that's what I mean. That's honestly what I think about because. We're going to read it and like, we're going to be a lot like, this was something so crazy. But then you think about like the Roaring 20s, right? That happened after we were totally shut down and everything else. So, I mean, is that what's going to happen next? Because people are just going to go fucking ape shit and be like, we're out. We got to go out and about. Like, but then again, so many people have left the city. So many people. I was like I told you, I just moved back from Jersey. And I probably looked at a good 35 to 40 apartments because I was on a month-to-month lease. I could literally leave anytime. Some of these apartments, for what they were charging, I'm like, I could have done like cartwheels into each room. And it was like, for what it was, I mean, I'm like, this is it? Like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane because everyone has left. But it's like,
do you feel like do you feel like it's going to bounce back sooner once like schools are in and businesses are back? Or do you feel like it's going to only bounce back when like people financially can make that jump again? Because it's not like you can just move to New York with nothing. Like you kind of have to have
something.
Yeah.
That's like the weird thing with New York. You guys, like, we have a lot of people that are leaving California, but we have a shit ton of people moving in. I have so many Illinois, Ohio, Wisconsin, Hawaii. I mean, I can go park by the pool, and on the way from the pool to my house, there's 17 different license plates on every car, and they're not from California. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not understanding how you guys are moving here. It's really hard for me to even, survive here with this whole thing. You guys just moved here in the middle of COVID? Like, what's going on here? I'm not understanding this.
I feel like a lot of people I feel like there's a lot of people similar to my situation that left New York because they financially couldn't afford it. And now that it's more affordable than not, I think they're the ones that are coming back in. The people that are middle-aged, people that or the people that were in a studio now could afford that 1 bedroom or that 2 bedroom. So that's who's moving. I feel like though a lot of families did leave, and I don't think they're coming back because I think that they realize that they can do the same work that they're doing with a yard and a driveway outside the city. And I think that a lot of people also, it's like a waiting game before they actually move out of the city. And now they're just like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to move now instead of waiting 5 years. You know what I mean? I think that.
Yeah, I have not seen any New York, no New York plates here. It's all other states. And
New
I'm
York,
like,
a lot
wow,
of New Yorkers
okay.
went to
I
Florida.
would think like New Yorkers. Yeah. Yep.
A lot of people went to Florida. But Blue, to answer your question, I feel like once businesses start opening and things like that, I think people that like had like their summer homes or like rented houses upstate will come back to the city. But I feel like the people that have moved out, they're not coming back.
They're not coming back.
I mean, maybe like to come in to commute and things like that for work, but they're not coming back here to live. Like, if anything, they're like, what are you gonna come back here to live and then move back out if God forbid something happens again? Like,
I think
they just don't.
Now that so many office buildings are remote too, is, there's like all those companies who, I have a friend who he works in Penguin Publishing, and they just said, we're extending your like work from home until 2022. Like, just like that, like they have no intentions. I mean, for a company, why are you going to pay Manhattan rents when all of your work can be done at home? Like, everybody's made it work. So can you go back? Or is it like the companies are gonna be like, this is way fucking cheaper because now I don't have to pay for lunch breaks and fucking lights and
electricity. I feel like, I personally think, and this is just a thought, I feel like we're gonna see a lot more like WeWork buildings pop up, because that way, like if you do have to have a meeting or you do have to come to the office, it will be less expensive for them to rent a space for a day or a couple of hours versus paying that rent. I mean, if there's anything that we've gone to see, everyone is capable from surviving from home. I mean, besides the construction industry and like those types of things, and like obviously like us, grocery work, besides like obviously the normals, but other than that, offices have all work from, my sister works for Whole Foods in the corporate office, and they just basically extended their stay at home as well. And they're like, all right, we'll just come in 1 or 2 times a day or 1 or 2 times a week to see how it goes. But they might not even deem it necessary. I think a lot of companies have realized that, why exactly what you said, why pay for all of this? And just think about like insurance, like the taxes. I mean, like they're converting a lot. I heard that they're converting a lot of the office buildings down here to residential, is what I did hear.
wow.
I mean, that would make sense if they're not having the office places come back. If you guys are working from home, like why? What else? What else are you going to do? Because I know some of the condos here, they look like office buildings. And I'm like, you're selling this thing and it's a condo? It looks like an apartment building or an office building. There's no backyard. There's no nothing. You're stacked on top of everybody. But that's here in California. Too many people. Guess what? They're doing that. Same thing over there too.
I wonder what the stats are of how many, like what the population in the city was March 1st and what the population is now. I mean, between the people that moved out, the people that have passed away, just like the total soup to nuts, how many people, like what we're at right now. Like, I wonder.
Absolutely. It's gotta be drastic.
It has to be.
Yeah. I mean, for a while there, I haven't been in the city, but my boss would always tell me that you just see moving van upon moving van. And a lot of people, like think of how many people just were like, okay, I think everybody was thinking that there was going to be some sort of rent freeze. And you can't evict them, but it doesn't mean you don't owe that rent afterwards.
That was a big thing for a lot of even businesses, because they're like, all right, well, my landlord's giving me a break. We don't have to pay it for like a couple months. I'm like, but you're still going to owe that. Like, that money's just not going to magically appear after a couple months. Like, you're still going to owe it. And it's just, I think the most heartbreaking thing is just seeing bars that you've gone to for years, like people that have lived in the city for years, their neighborhood local just closed. Like, knowing how hard people have, like, it's like your whole entire life was something, and then in a blink of an instant, because of government, because of money, because of everything else, it's just, and it's crazy. Because when you think about it, at any time of tragedy, 9/11, Sandy, anything really, you go to your bar and you just are around people, you're around other humans, you guys all just like commiserate with each other. And you took away the one thing that we all had to do. Like, even socially distance, you took it away. Like, it's just, that's the saddest part, I think. It really is. But
I think there's going to be a lot of aftermath of, like the effects of, the cause and effect. It's like, I think there's going to be a lot of effects that are down the road of, what people, because, a lot of people are living off of their credit cards. A lot of people have that rent, but like, what happens when your lease is up and you're to renew the next year? Like, are you going to have to come up with it? Like, what happens when you realize that like you have a job that barely got you paycheck to paycheck, and now you have all this credit card debt? Like, what happens when, like people, like I always say, like, I'm going to come, like, it's being inside all the time and having to go back out to like normal life. Like, there's so much, the kids who just basically spent a year with like mom and dad trying to work from home and give them their education, which is fucking a joke anyway. Like, they just are going to miss out on like that year. Like, there's so much that I feel like it's really going to be, the story's really going to be when we start to go back to normal life.
Like, what, and that's the other thing, like, what is the plan for kids? Like, are they all going to have to repeat a year? Are they not? Like, and then you think about all the kids like in high school that worked so hard to get scholarships, that played sports team. It was their senior year. Like, are high schoolers still having sex? Like, are they allowed to have sex? Like,
now, what are they doing right now? Yeah.
No one's experimenting.
That's what I was saying. I go, wait, these kids should be repeating the grade that they were going to, because these kids, like, come on now, the new math and stuff that they're teaching these kids, our generation doesn't understand that. So you're getting them, you're having our kids sit with us with this new math that we were never taught, that some of us don't even get anyways. Like,
algebra.
Yeah, right. So now you want us to sit down with our kids and learn this new stuff? Are you kidding me? No, there's no way in hell. But everybody was saying, oh no, my kid's getting bumped up to the next grade. I'm like, there's no fucking way. How are you going to do that? You're going to have all these kids. That's what I'm saying. This whole year was a mind fuck for everybody. A mind fuck for everybody. You got alcoholism. You have families falling apart. You got suicides up the ass. You got people like us that are like, I'm sorry, but I've been like really depressed. We went from seeing hundreds of people a day to like I said, that guy over there.
How many relationships of like people not even being happy in the relationship, and then you just got stuck indoors with them? Like, how many people just like their relationship went to shit?
That's what I'm saying. It's like a
divorce rate
for everybody.
Divorce rate at an all-time high, domestic violence all-time high, suicide, drug overdoses. Then you have all these babies being born because everyone, I mean,
everybody's fucking like rabbits.
Yeah. And then, but then you think about like all the single people out there, like that are on dating apps.
Too, to think, because like they're single and they're staying at home, everything was closed, and it's like, yeah, I have somebody, but then it's like, fuck, I have somebody, you don't.
Right. And so I'm 34 and I'm single. So for me, I would meet people at the bars, like, or dating apps. But now, I mean, dating apps are like, you can only swipe left or right.
You're stuck to dating apps and you're like, no.
Please tell me what dating apps are like now during COVID.
Oh, they're the worst. They're
No, I hear it. I hear it from the girls. It's not good.
That's
It's
the
not
thing.
good
Like
at all.
that's the only way you can meet people now is on dating apps. And then
Because
now
nobody has house parties. Nobody's like, oh, it's a house party. We're gonna meet all these people, and all these people are gonna come. Your dudes come. Your dudes are gonna come. Your girls are gonna come. And your girls. Like it's not like a whole mesh of people anymore. It's fucking internet now.
it's terrible because and then it's like you can't just go to the bar. Like bars
There's no
are
bars.
all day. There's no bars. So and then it's just it's so terrible because it's like so like I'm like I basically lost out on a year of my life for potentially meeting someone. I mean, but again, it's just that's also like the shittier part because I'm like I can't even go out and meet someone if I wanted to. But no, dating apps now, it's the funniest thing. So I'm on Hinge and Bumble. And now it's like, are you socially distanced? Like, check. Are you like okay with like physical touch? Like all these things. And I'm like, because some people literally have just become pen pals because they're not seeing anybody. Or like they're doing Zoom dates or like FaceTime. And yeah, I'm not.
Oh my god,
That's not.
like
I mean,
so
that's
weird
not
to
my
me.
thing. But I mean,
Because too, when you go on you have your iPhone, right? And it has
Right.
like that whole like it downloaded that new thing where it tells you whether or not like you're next to COVID people.
Oh, I
so
turned
that
that
kind
off.
of links
That's way
to
too
your
creepy.
dating apps too, right?
I'm sure it is. I mean, I turned mine off because that's just too creepy for me. That's like too much
It's super
traffic
creepy.
of my yeah.
Yeah, like
But-
over that.
I mean, I went on a couple COVID dates over the summer just because like you need people. But again, I was living in Jersey at that time. So Jersey was a lot more open than New York. But I mean, also it always came up. I'm like, I have COVID. I mean, I already had COVID. I have the antibodies. And like, you know, but I mean, it worked out with the couple of people that I went on a date with. It was fine.
Because they wanted to make out with you because they wanted the antibodies. It's good. It's cool. I'd make out with you too. It's fine.
Hey. But no, one was a cop. So I was like, all right, well, you're definitely safe. Like, let's do this. Make out, that is. Where everyone's talking about it.
Oh man.
That is like those are the things that you really don't think about, you know, like,
No.
until you're in it, and it's an interesting.
Like how do you meet new people? Sorry.
I know. It's just, and it's, you know, and it's funny because, you know, you talk to some people and they're like, I'm so jealous. You get to work from home in your pajamas. Like, that's the greatest thing. They're like, how do you not love this? I'm like, this is my worst nightmare.
You're like, if I wanted to live and work at an office in a cubicle, I would.
This honestly, to me, is the most depressing, worst thing ever. It wasn't like when we got furloughed. It wasn't like everything else going on. It's that I literally am by myself all the time, unless I go talk to my doorman. And then it's like a whole new world.
I love your doorman. We need to have a conversation with him and just ask him silly questions about you. So how does she dress when she comes out of her house? Does she dress up when she talks to you?
It's so
What
funny.
do you think of her?
Yeah. He's like, oh, this bitch again? Like, sorry, no.
He's like, oh, I'm very busy right now. Very busy.
Yeah. Or like, oh, exactly. He's like looking down at his phone. He's like, oh, okay. It's so funny. It's just, but like, this is like, I crave human attention. And like, I mean, Blue, you know, like, I'm like just touching everybody, like all these things. That's probably not good in this.
You can't touch people anymore. It's kind of weird.
And I'm just like, and that's one of my love languages. Like, I love, like, when I'm like talking to people, I'm always like patting the back or like hitting a shoulder. And I'm like, okay, can't touch you. And it's just like, and I love to hug. I'm such a hugger. Can't even fucking hug anybody. It's just really.
You're like,
God, I can't hit like with the elbows. I'm
it's
like,
fucking weird.
I
It's
know.
weird.
Air 5.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
I think too, it's hard to like be in that mindset, like to go out into the world and be in that mindset too, because I touch my face a lot. Like I touch my face all the time, and I'm just oblivious. And so Nick's always like, you touch your face, you touch your eye, you touch this, you touch this. I'm like, shut up. Because it's gonna be the same thing as like, I don't have that like I'm not mentally aware that nobody wants me to touch them and not to touch my face.
I'm the same way. I literally just carry sanitizer on me and I just try to use it as much as possible. But again, I could not agree more. Like when you think about it too, like this has only gone on for almost a year. I mean, we're how old? Like we're years of like, we're not just like 5 years old or we've had 5 years of life and this is 1 year out of it. Like I'm 34. Like you're talking 33 years of being trained one way. And I'm Italian. So I mean, we're touching, hugging, kissing everybody.
Oh, 100%. You guys are touching and hugging and kissing and everything.
Buddy. I'm like looking your face.
You're very affectionate. Like my mom and my sisters, no, we don't touch each other. We don't touch each other. No. But once I get around you guys, yeah, I'm like, 17 kisses on the cheek. Okay. All right. Yeah.
One more for good luck.
That's definitely, I guess it is definitely different for you guys too. But like, even me too, I miss hugging you. You know, I miss hugging my girls. I miss like my girlfriends, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really hard not to even be around your girlfriends because I have a lot of girlfriends that are pregnant or had a kid or whatever. So a lot of them have, you know, families and stuff. And I don't want to be around that. I have to work with customers, you know, and my mom too. I haven't seen my mom. Have you seen your mom? When's the last time you saw your mom?
My mom gives zero fucks about this virus.
Yeah.
She literally came she came over.
She was like, no, my mom's the opposite.
No,
She's
my
like,
mom gives zero fucks
away from me.
She like
is at the hospital.
She's out and about every morning because like she really can't sit still. She's out and about when like the senior hours are. She's like stocking up on toilet paper, paper towels, everything. She's like, no, she's like, I take the precautions. She's like, if I get it, that's just God's way of saying like it. I'm like, okay.
And she's Italian too, so then she has that accent on top of that. She's like,
I like cannot with my mother. Like I just cannot. But
I love it.
It's, you know, just going back to like the girlfriend thing. I'm very fortunate in one way that my closest group of friends, everyone in my closest group either has a essential worker or a police officer or a nurse in the couple. So after like June, it got to the point where we're just like, we can't survive without each other because we're just a very close knit of people. So like, it got to the point where like, you're a nurse, I've had it, you're in corrections, you're in YPD. We're like, listen, let's just all be careful, socially distance. And like in the summer times, because they live upstate New York, so they have like yards and driveways and all that good stuff. We would just sit in the yard and just shoot the shit and drink beers and hang out because it's like, there's only up to a certain point where it's like shrinks right now have got to be rolling in the town because
oh my God, right? What
holy
the hell?
shit.
But then at the same time, who's their shrink? Because
I want
those
that
guys
I want your shrink.
tripping. They're gonna deal with our bullshit, and then who deals with their bullshit?
Because they have to have some bullshit.
100%.
1000%, yes. Yeah. But it's crazy. Like, Blue, how are your kids adapting? Like, I know like they're tiny, but I mean, is it like weird that you don't get to do like certain things with them because they're like inside and like in your yard, or what's that like?
You know, I feel like they're going to be extremely spoiled to just have like constant attention and constant people home. And I feel like, you know, like even my littlest one's 8 months and he's in this, he's just starting, like he's going to be a bruiser, man. And he's already like, if you just turn the corner and you don't make eye contact, he's already like, like, look at me, you know? And it's like, dude, I am in this little box of a house. You could see me in every room, but like, we don't have to make eye contact. Like, it's just, I think they're going to get to the real world and be like
what
you have to go somewhere? Like, what?
We have another friend who has a kid and he's like, you know, he's able-bodied now. He's like walking around and everything, but he is just, man, that kid was born in COVID. You could tell. It's like, you can tell it's not like a normal kid. Like, I think they're just so used to having the parents around that they're just codependent, you know? It's not like you can just like leave your kid with a babysitter, because nowadays there was no babysitters because all the babysitters are gone because they're dealing with their own family. It's you taking care of your kid, and then you don't want to take care of your kid, but you got to take care of this kid, and this kid is a demon child, and I've seen them. They are horrible.
It's crazy how people had nannies and then they didn't take their nanny with them in their COVID time. And
Yeah,
they
because the
actually
nannies
like,
had to go and deal with their own shit.
yes. So like that's crazy number one. Like how that, but then also like think about all the parents that have jobs, like all of us here. Well, I don't have kids, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All the parents that have their own shit to do, but now they also have to deal with their kids. Like you said before, Nate, like it's, where was that in the bylines? Like, no.
Wait, you said I had to stay home from work and watch my kids? You're crazy.
And you had to go to school. Like, you know, like that's like the thing about.
Oh, and you had to go back to school when half of you know you dropped out of high school.
Yeah, like, you know, like that's the thing is, you know, for me, my little one is 4, so it's like just drawing and reading books and singing songs. But like for a lot of other people that have, you know, kids, it's like, or multiple kids, I can't even understand the process of like them having to sit down and, you know, get these kids who don't, you know, like I didn't want to go to school, so I can't imagine that if my mom was, you know, gonna be like, hey, sit at that computer for an hour. I'd be like, no. I mean, I have a hard time working in general. Like I work from home and it's, you know, it's like I'm distracted and I start a text message and then I forget the text message is there and I'll like start an email and then I'll forget and I'll go make a cup of coffee. It's like, I'm like way too ADD to be home because I'll like sit down at my computer to work and then it's like, oh, I need to clean this and the kid this. And it's like, you know, I didn't answer this, or like, I have no fucking clue what time it is. So I had a meeting at 3, but it's like 5:30 and I just remembered. It's like, this is like not possible to do all of it.
Now the think about also like school lunches. How many people like counted on that? Like how much more money you're spending feeding everybody at home? Like some people can't even afford to do that. And they counted on school lunches and like, you know, like school assistants to like feed their kids.
Wait, so you guys in New York, you guys didn't have it where people came to the school still to pick up their lunch?
When I grew up, and when I think about now upstate, because that's where I'm from, upstate New York, but like it's like when you go to school, like you had like lunch period and like there was like a cafeteria there.
Yeah.
And they could either do like a school meal, which is like Monday you had this, Tuesday you had this, like all planned out, or like you brought your own lunch. But
yeah, no. So during this whole COVID thing, the schools were still handing out lunches.
Oh.
So yeah, so there would be like right at like noon or whatever, 11, 10 to noon, there'd be like 2 or 3 like chicks out there, ladies out there, I don't know, teachers, cafeteria or whatever, and they would have these little snack baggies, and you would see like, because I live right next to a school, but like a couple of the schools around here in this area, I live next to the school, my friends have kids, I have no kids, but I'm surrounded by them. But yeah, you would see like a ton of like school, like people just going down to school and just picking up lunch for the kids. So you guys didn't have any of that?
I don't know if the city did that. I know upstate did it. I mean, I don't know if the city did or not, to be honest with you.
Wow. That's like that I feel like helped a lot of people out, because even for us at Strut, we did a couple of days where we were actually on the news and everything, not saying we're like, you know, and need to say that, but like we had Miguel Juniors and we had breakfast for families and stuff. I live in Costa Mesa, so I feel like this is like more of a I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I say people it's like a West Coast thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's a lot of people over here that need help, you know?
Yeah.
So we had that, and there was a ton of people that came out and got food from us. And maybe that's why, like, I'm in an area that needs a little bit more help, but I feel like New York, you guys would have gotten that.
I wonder now. I have to ask one of my girlfriends that has a kid in the city. I honestly don't know, but like that's what I thought about, like upstate. Like think about all the people that counted on that food, and also like the cost.
Yeah, lunch itself with kids is expensive, you know. So just getting that little bit of lunch help every day means a lot.
And when you're in school, they're on a schedule where it's like you have snack time at this time, then you have lunch. Like when you're at home, it's like free for all. It's like, oh, I want this, now I want that, and now I want this. It's like, how do you afford that?
Yeah.
You know, we had for a while they were like, there's like Feed New York or something like that. It's like a program So you get this box and it would have like turkey sandwich, apples, lentils, rice, like this,
Right.
like, it was like a little pair, like it must have been like a program. So for a while there, like in the beginning of probably like June, July, we would get all these packages on the front stoop and we were like, that's strange. So we called 311 and I was like, I'm getting these packages of food. Are they supposed to be going to someone in particular? And they were paying Ubers at the time because like taxi industry just took a shit because there was no people on the street, you know, during the height of the first wave. So they were paying the taxi drivers, but the taxi drivers weren't delivering it. So they were just like there ended up being like taxi drivers just putting it like under bridges off of like certain roads. So there was like all this food. And we were just letting people know, like, I mean, I don't care, like, I'll take it, you know, like, but if it's coming to my house, then somebody's not getting that, which was my concern.
Right, of course.
Right. And so turns out like people were, because they got paid to pick up these packages and they didn't fucking give a fuck where these were going. So
That's so crazy.
that's what they originally did was like they'll send food packages home to people, but I know that was like a big scandal for like a hot minute of, you know, these.
Wow, that's really cool that they were even doing that, that they were even paying Uber drivers to send it to your house. What the hell? Like, oh, that's your job. Do it. That's like saying you don't want to fucking make a drink when you're a fucking bartender. Like, fucking make a drink. You're a fucking bartender. Like, come on. Light that shit on fire and like creme brulee some shit. I don't know what they want, but do it.
Torch
Like,
that orange.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, you know, what the fuck? That's crazy because I've never heard any of that stuff happening over here. So
I know they did
that's
a lot
even
of, like,
better.
food drives.
Over there, they were actually sending it to your doorstep, you know? Like, what the fuck?
It's so crazy.
I don't have any trust in any humans anymore. I fucking hate human beings, except for you guys. Like,
Honestly,
anybody who's on my podcast, I love you guys, but fuck everybody else. I hate everybody.
Times a day I say I fucking just hate everybody. It's like God, I just hate everybody. Like,
If you can't trust anybody nowadays, I don't give a fuck. Like,
God,
I
just
trust
hate
the people
everybody.
that keep close to me, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
God damn it,
So
that
funny.
pisses me off. Like all that food wasted. Like it like goes down to like, oh, okay, I'm gonna eat this because you know I'm not gonna waste it because there's like starving people on the street. Yet you're putting boxes of food like underneath bridges and stuff and not giving it. Like at least even if I leave a place and I fucked up and wasted and I have leftovers, I'm giving it to somebody.
Give it to someone. Think about all the food that we have to buy in the city just for drinks. Wrap that shit up and we're giving it to the homeless.
Exactly. What the fuck? That pisses me off.
It's so
man.
It's been a very interesting year. I think that this year is going to be just as interesting. Maybe not just as interesting, but I think
no, it is. I don't think the city is going to even start to look even slightly normal until fall of next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it's the end of January, guys, right? End of January, officially the end of dry January.
Oh, Felicia, Dee's been doing dry January.
Yeah.
What shots have you been taking?
Wait, Tuesdays are backwards day. Calm down, Felicia. It is backwards day.
I'm like, not that I saw you got your water shots, but I mean, hey.
She's like, you're not sober. Definitely, for sure. I know what's up. Well,
there was a couple slip-ups in your January.
Yeah, the 6th of January was kind of fucked up for everybody. And it kind of like went downhill after that. So Tuesdays, we're good. I mean, you saw me the other day. Some bartender just gave me, I was just there for a friend. I was there for a friend. I got shots delivered to me. That's why I cannot go to bars because shots get delivered to me. Like
I wish I had that problem.
You probably have those problems too, and you'll probably have them right when you go back to work. They're gonna be like, "Oh my god, we haven't seen you anymore. Let's take a shot."
Always shots. Always shots.
Let's take another shot.
Yeah, let's take another shot because then I might have to sign off, ladies.
Let's do it.
We're
Felicia, you are the best. Thank you so very much for coming on our show, our 6th episode.
It's great.
We have every Tuesday. We are available on Spotify, Apple iPod, YouTube. You hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Am I missing anything, Dee? I always miss one.
No, I think you got it, girl. Wow! 6 episodes. That's all it takes. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me, ladies. It was great.
You are the best. Thank you so very much. We love talking to you.
All right, I'm gonna sign off, guys. Love you guys.
Wait,
Bye.
do you have anything that's coming up? Do you have any restaurants that you're like going to? Anything that's like new and exciting? I mean, now that it's open, do you have anything you need to say to any of our people before you sign off?
Well, I love you guys. I miss all the bars and restaurants in the city. I just miss being around people, and I cannot wait for this to open. We're gonna drink some Jameson. We're gonna drink some Absolute. We're gonna drink all the shit under the sun, and we're gonna celebrate us being back open for sure. And I cannot, oh my God, wait, Blue, real quick. So a bunch of my coworkers were there at Arlene's Grocery on Friday, and I was so pissed I couldn't go. And they got the Arlene's Grocery hoodies. And let me tell you, I like them.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys want to go onto Arlene's Groceries Instagram and buy some merch, you definitely should, because it's like the oldest little place there. They have all the concerts. Blue, tell them what's up.
I was so excited. I was like, oh, you guys got me one? Because we were all together beforehand and I couldn't go. They're like, oh. And I'm like, really? I'm like, fuck you guys.
They didn't even get you one? They didn't get you one?
No. So that just means we have to go back now and I have to get one.
You do. And I have one with your name on it. I will save you one, definitely.
Oh, I love it. All right, guys. Well, it was so great seeing you. I can't wait to see you guys in real life.
Yes.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye.